Hello, welcome to Rathod's IAS. Today in this lecture, we are going to continue the first chapter of Sanjeev Verma economy book. So in this lecture, we are going to discuss GDP as a measure of growth. In the last lecture, we already discussed about what is gross and what is net. What is the difference between the gross and the difference between the net. And we also discussed what is a domestic product and what is the national product. Correct? So I hope you will recall all these basic concepts. So once you recall all these basic concepts, then only you will understand this series of this lecture. So let's get started with this. We are going to discuss GDP, a measure of the growth. So what is a GDP? GDP stands for the gross domestic product. That means the value of all the goods and services that are produced within a geographical territory within a given period of that time. It is called as the gross. So that is domestic product. So what is the gross here? Gross means we are not taking into account depreciation. So whenever we are taking into account depreciation, then it is called as net. But we are not taking into account depreciation here. So because of this, it is a GDP, gross domestic product. So if you see the counting methods in any other economy, for example, if you say US economy or Indian economy and also most other economies, they have switched over into GDP method mainly for measuring the growth. Correct? So mainly for the measuring of the growth in their economy, they are moving towards this GDP calculation. So if you are talking about the output, that is a monetary value of the goods and services, correct? So whenever we are talking about this monetary value, that can be viewed from the two perspectives. We can say the first one is a factor cost, second one is a market price. We already discussed about some of the introduction regarding this factor cost and also the market price. So what is the factor cost? It is also called as the income of the factors of production. So we already discussed about the factors of production in our earlier lecture. That include land. These are the factors, right? Land, labor, capital, and also entrepreneur. So these four are the important factors of production. For land, we pay the rent, and for the labor, we pay the wages or the salaries. For the capital, we pay interest, and for the entrepreneur, profit. So all these things comes under the incomes of these factors. So this income of these factors is called as a factor cost in short. And the next one is market price. Market price means whenever any good which is coming out of that factory into the market. So whenever we are buying that product in the market for which we are paying, that is called as a market price. So whenever any good that is coming into the market, on this market the tax which is imposed by the government, and as well as for the production of that product, the government may also give the subsidies. So if you see, there is a difference between the factor cost and also the market price normally. But in not all the cases, correct? So only some cases we can see the factor cost is equal to the market price. That is a very rare and the exceptional cases. So but if you see in the normal circumstances, the cost, factor cost and this market price is different. Okay. So if you see, to calculate this factor cost and the market price, there is a one formula. That here is factor cost plus indirect taxes that are levied by the government on that product, and we are removing the subsidies, then we get the market price. So if you see this concept, that is the indirect taxes minus subsidies, this is called as a net taxes. Net taxes means we are subtracting the subsidies from this indirect taxes which is levied by the government, that is called as a net taxes. So for the factor cost, we are adding this net taxes, then we will get this market price. Is it clear so far? Okay, let's move further. So I have a question for you people. So whenever you are talking about the monetary value, whether we will take into account that is either factor cost or market price. So this is the question every student will get, correct? So I said this factor cost which is different from the market price. So which is taken into account? So the monetary value of the which is taken into account. So if you see, whenever we are talking about the output that is measured at a market price, but whenever we are taking this market price into account, this may be increased by the increase in the taxes. For example, government may add surcharges or extra additional charges on also cess. For example, we can say COVID cess and also like Krishi Kalyan cess, etc. Correct? So whenever we are taking this market price into account, there may be the increase in the output number, because there may be the increase in the taxes that can be added by the government. So in this condition, whenever we are going for the factor cost, it is better to calculate the output but not on this market price. So if you see here, this does not necessarily imply that more goods and the services have been produced in the economy, but because of the adding of the indirect taxes mainly by the government on that product, then there will be the increase in the price of that. So whenever there is an increase in the price of that good, that will alternate, that will changes this output measured, correct? So in this case, whenever we are measuring the output, we will take into account that is factor cost but not this market price. Is it clear? So if you see here, output of an economy, it is worked out both at the market price as well as at the factor cost. But if you are talking about the growth purpose, output at the factor cost, it is to be considered, not this market price. So this is very important regarding the prelims point of view. So whenever we are taking into the growth into account, we should take factor cost but not this market price. So this means the increased value in the production of the goods and the services in the economy, it is captured at a factor cost at not a market prices. That means whenever we are taking into account market price, there may be the increasing of the cost of that product because of the increasing of the taxes which is levied by the government. But there will be no actually increase in the production of the goods and services in the country. So because of that, for the measuring of the growth, we will go for this factor cost but not the market price. I hope it is clear now. So there is another question before you. The question here is, can output at market price and factor cost same? I already said that the factor cost and the market price are different, but there are some exceptions. So if you see the formula here, factor cost plus indirect taxes minus subsidies is equal to market price. So if you see this net taxes, whenever these net taxes is 0, then this factor cost is equal to the market price, correct? So whenever these indirect taxes which are levied by the government and the subsidies which are given by the government are equal, then this factor cost is equal to the market price. But it is very rare, okay? So this is about this question and the answer is yes. In the cases of the exceptional circumstances where the taxes are not equal to the subsidies, or we can say that is a utopian circumstances. So in these utopian circumstances, the indirect taxes and the subsidies are equal. So the net taxes will become 0 such that this factor cost is equal to the market price. Is it clear? And let us see the next thing. So whenever we are talking about the monetary value of the goods or the services at a market price or the factor cost, then we have to think about one important concept. This is the concept of the inflation here. So what is the inflation? Inflation in a very simple terms, we can say there is a rise of the cost, of the rise of the prices during this inflationary times. That means whenever there is any circumstances happen, abnormal situations, then the production is decreased but the demand is increasing in the market. So at that time there will be no thing that is can be happen, but there is increase in the price of the goods and the services in the market. This condition is called as the inflation. Inflation in simpler terms, it is called as increase in the price of the goods and the services in the market. It is called as inflation. So what happened in this inflation? Because of the rise in the prices of the goods and services, we can see the value will increase or inflate in the nominal terms. So what is a nominal here? Nominal means we are not taking into account inflation. We are not adjusting the inflation. So whatever the value that is getting because of the increase in the price of these goods and services, so whatever the output is coming, whatever the monetary value of the output is coming, that is called as the nominal terms. Is it clear? So let me give you some example. The simple example that quoted in this book is, suppose if the inflation is at 10%, that means it implies that the price is going up by the 10%. That means let us take an hypothetical example. Let us take one small thing, like let us take a toy here. The toy cost here is 100 rupees normally, but because of this inflation, the same toy cost is rupees 110. But if you see the output here, if you take the number of that toys in that shop is, let us take example 10. The quantity of those toys present in that particular shop is 10. So what is the monetary value of those toys which are present? That is 10 into 100, that is 1000 rupees. But what happened in the inflation, in these inflation times, the cost of that house or the cost of that toy, it is increased to 10, correct? So the toy cost here is 110 rupees. So if you see the total monetary value of the 10 toys which are present in that shop will be 1100 rupees. So there is increasing of the 100 rupees that is seen. But if you see the quantity, only the 10 toys are present, there will be no increasing of the goods and services. But if you see the output value, it is increased to 1100. So this is mainly because of this inflation. So whenever you take in this figure, that is 1100, it is called as a nominal figure. Okay, nominal means you are not counting the inflation, just you are taking the total value, total monetary value of the goods and services without taking into account inflation. That is called as a nominal terms. Is it clear? So this is about the nominal thing. So let us move towards. So if you see this, the output which is measured at the factor cost, it would be adjusted to actually to reflect this increased production of the goods and services in the economy. So what is this point says? So there are the two important terms that you should remember here. The first one is nominal, second one is real. So if you see the last example here, the toy normal price is 100 rupees, but due to the inflation it is increased to 10 rupees, that is 110 rupees. So here you are not taking the inflation here, correct? You are not taking account into the inflation, that is 1100 rupees. It is a total value of the toys which are present in that shop. So here it is a nominal thing. Whenever you are talking about, you are removing the inflation, that means actual cost is 100 rupees. So when you are calculating this monetary value of the goods and services with taking into account that inflation, that means this 1000 rupees, it is called as a real value. Okay, so this is about the real and the nominal. Nominal means we are not taking into the inflation into account. So but when you are talking about the real, we are also taking this inflation into account. So this is a small difference between the real and the nominal monetary value or the nominal output. So if you see, whenever you are talking about the inflation means there is a general tendency of rise of the price of the goods and services in the market. That is the inflation. So if you see, whenever you are talking about the output that is measured based on the two important things. The first one you are talking about the market price and the second one is factor cost. So when you are talking about the output in the market price, there will be the indirect taxes and also the subsidies. So whenever talking about the factor cost, it is the income of the factors of the production. So whenever calculating the growth, we are taking into the factor cost into an account. So whenever we are taking this factor cost into account, one important thing is we can know whether there is an increase in the production of the goods and the services in the market or not. But if you're taking into the account market price, we do not know correct fact regarding this, whether there is an increase in the goods or services, or whether there is an increase in the taxes which is levied by the government. So whenever we want to take into account whether there is an increase in the production of the goods and services in the market, we will take into account that is the factor cost. So what is the difference between the nominal and the real? We already discussed. Whenever we are taking into the consideration that is inflation, that is called as the real. Whenever we are not taking this inflation into consideration, that is called as a nominal. So whenever we are making the adjustment, it is a statistical exercise which is done by using mainly GDP deflator. It gives the output of the factor cost in the terms of the constant prices. So let us see here what is a GDP deflator. GDP deflator which helps in this inflation adjustment. GDP deflator, there is a formula. GDP deflator is equal to nominal GDP by real GDP into 100. Let us go back to the example there. So we have the toys. They are 10 in number and the cost is 100 rupees. For example, let us take the year 2017 to 2018. In this year, the cost of this toy is 100 rupees. So the total monetary value here is 1000 rupees. And if you see the same toy in the year 2018 to 2019, the cost here is 110 rupees. So the total quantity is 10 here again. So the total value is 1100 rupees. Okay, is it clear? So here there is an increasing of the 10 rupees is happen because of the inflation. So whenever we are not taking into the consideration of the inflation, this 1100 will be the nominal output or the nominal GDP in this case, and here the 1000 will be the real GDP. So if you substitute these values in this formula, that is 1100 by 1000 into 100. So what will be the value? 2 zeros, 2 zeros, 1 0, 1 0. That is 1.1. There is a 1.1 times increase in the price when compared to this year. So whenever we are comparing any price in that year to the another year, that is called as a base year. Regarding this base year, we are going to discuss in the next lecture. Okay. So what is this GDP deflator? It says about how many times there is inflation that is seen. And if you see the output at the constant prices, that mainly refers to the output that is obtained after being adjusted for the inflation. So from the nominal to real, we will adjust the inflation regarding this GDP deflator. So by using this GDP deflator, once we adjust this inflation, then that output is called as output at constant price. So this is the one important term that you should remember regarding the prelims. So what is the output at the constant prices? That means we are adjusting this GDP with this GDP deflator. Okay. Whenever the output which is obtained that is being adjusted for the inflation, then that output after this adjustment with the inflation, that is called as the output at the constant prices. And if you see adjustment for the inflation, it is also known as real, or otherwise there is no adjustment of the inflation, then that is called as a nominal. Okay, we already discussed about what is the real and what is the nominal. So if you see here, the real growth is adjusted for the inflation, while the nominal growth which ignores the adjustment of the inflation. So if you see the growth, by definition it is a real inflation but not the nominal, because we have to adjust it for the inflation. And similarly, we are also having the several terms regarding this nominal and the real. They include the real interest rate or the nominal interest rate, or income, that is real income, nominal income, real wages, nominal wages. But there is no concept of the nominal and the real growth, because the growth is always by the definition to be adjusted for the inflation. So when you are talking about the growth, though there is no nominal growth or there is no real growth. So the growth means it is a real growth. Okay. So finally, let us have a conclusion regarding this word growth. The growth in the Indian context that implies increase in the GDP, is it clear? At factor cost and at constant prices. That means after adjusting with the inflation. So this is very important prelims fact. So you may get a direct question regarding this in any state service examination as well as the UPSC. In the previous years of the UPSC, the question asked. So the word growth in the Indian context, it implies mainly increase in the GDP at a factor cost and that too at the constant prices. And let us see the important thing here. So if you see in India, the entire computation is the responsibility of the Central Statistical Office in small CSO. Whenever you are reading the newspaper in the business column, you will come across this word frequently, that is CSO. So what is the duty of this CSO? CSO have to have a duty that is regarding this computation of this growth. And if you see these estimates of the growth, they are mainly provided by this organization mainly on the quarterly basis. That means for the every 3 months we have this growth. And it is based on the months like end of March, end of June, end of September and the end of December. And at every year, the annual growth estimates are provided mainly in the month of the April and the March. And every year it is also referred to as financial year. So whenever talking about the financial year, it is a calendar year, that is from the January to December. Don't forget this. This is also important prelims fact. So if you see, all the government and the corporate accountings in India is with the reference to the mainly financial year. Okay. So this is about the some important thing. You should remember about this Central Statistical Organization and also these estimates of the growth that can be done in the quarterly basis, and also we come with the yearly basis based on this financial year. This financial year, it is a calendar year from the January to December. Okay, by this we are concluding this session. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel. Please do like, share and comment my videos. Thank you.